it's Jennifer McGuire, and in this video I wanted to show you a fun way to use the new Hero Arts Reinkers. In another video, Sherry shared how to re-ink your ink pads, but I wanted to show you how you can actually create your own ink pads using these reinkers. I'm doing both of these cards, the blue one I just showed you, and this kind of wild celebration one here. I first start with a piece of any kind of plastic. This is just from some packaging. I just had it in my trash. I just want to put that underneath my ink pad so it doesn't seep through. Then I'm taking 2 baby wipes. I just took it right out of my baby wipes container, so it is still moist. That's okay. I'm going to fold them into fourths and then stack them on top of each other. So it's, got a few layers of thickness there, but it's not too big. I'm just using a border stamp, so I only need a small area inked on this ink pad. So to do this little strip here, I use several of the new reinkers. And this first one that I'm starting with here, this one is the soft granite, I believe. Nope, this is the Tide Pool, sorry. And I'm going to squeeze a little bit of it out. I always shake my reinkers. Not all reinkers need shaking, but I just do it just in case. And I'm just going to squeeze some drops right on to my baby wipe. So my baby wipes are just going to act like my ink pad. Next, I have the neon blue here. And I'm just going to squeeze some the neon green, squeeze it right next to the other. You'll see it kind of wick and bleed into the baby wipes. That's okay. Next up, we have some neon blue, and I'm just picking random colors here. When these two ink colors hit each other, up against each other on the baby wipe, it kind of stops blending, stops spreading, so you do get nice defined areas, and I'll show you how to make them blend if you want to. And then I'm going to do a little bit of green here, and then add some other colors. I just did some additional, and then I did soft graphite at the end. And I decided since I'm going to use that bottom border stamp, I needed a little bit more color to make the ink pad I'm making a little bit longer, so I'm putting some soft granite at the beginning too. So I just lined up all my colors just in random order. So now I'm going to go ahead and take my stamp, and I'll put it right onto the acrylic mount. Now, watch as I ink this. I'm kind of going side to side so that the inks kind of overlap in between each of the colors as it blends. So that kind of gives it a little blending. So I kind of ink it side to side a little bit, just a little wiggle, to get the ink to blend in between as it switches from one color to the next. So I'm going to ink it up and just stamp it right onto my note card. Now these reinkers are for Hero Art Shadow inks. They slowly absorb into paper and smooth out and give you an even look. So you'll see it looks kind of splotchy now, but it'll end up drying quite nicely. Now if you decide that you want it to be more bold, you can just ink it up again and stamp it right on top of where you stamped it in the first place. That's one of the great advantages of clear stamps. So you could make this more intense if you wanted to. I went ahead and cleaned my stamp first between inking it a second time because I changed the location of where the inks were on the stamp. So I'm just going to go ahead and repeat this several times as I go down the card here. Now this ink pad, you can just use this one time. I could use it to make several cards, but this isn't something that I could store and really use again. If you wanted to make an ink pad that you store and keep for a long time in a plastic bag, I recommend Ranger has a cut and dry felt product that's perfect for making your own ink pads, and you do it the same way. So now I wanted to go ahead and stamp a greeting that went with this. I decided to go with hugs to go with our love theme for the month on the Hero Arts blog. So I just took out the hugs greeting and I'm stamping it with my black ink. I'm trying to decide here where to stamp it. I decided to do it over here to the left so I can leave some room for some embellishments over on the right hand side. So I'll just stamp this and I'll leave this as quite a simple card and let all that blended color kind of speak for itself. Now before we move on to these little embellishments, I wanted to show you another example of a card that I created using some different colors for a do-it-yourself ink pad. For this one, I'm starting again with the same folded baby wipes, and I'm using raspberry jam reinker, then I'm using orange soda, neon yellow, and neon pink. Now these will be a bright mix of colors. It's fun to just kind of do any colors that you want and see what the results are. Now these are all dye ink reinkers. You can use any type of dye ink reinkers for this. Distress ink reinkers also work well. You can try other types of reinkers, such as pigment ink, but I find that these dye ink work really well. Now you can get this multi-inked look by just coloring a marker directly onto your stamp and then stamping it onto the paper. However, I don't feel that always gives real crisp results, whereas using the real ink, stamping ink, as I am here, will give you much better results every time. So I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that this ink pad is inked up long enough for this little border stamp here. Now this border stamp is also from the Studio Calico set that I showed you before. And instead of adding it to the acrylic block in a straight line as it's intended, I decided to kind of make it cattywampus here, to make it kind of bend a little bit, just to give it a little bit of fun. And I'm going to have this go along the card here. It's kind of, this color combination is kind of bold and wild, so I thought the curved stamped image would be fun to go along with that. Now I decided I'm going to have this little image kind of hang from the top of the card in different places. So I'm going to stamp it one more time in this position. I'm just inking it up. You'll see I kind of go back side to side to get the ink to blend from color to color. I stamp this again on the other side. And now I'm going to go ahead and clean my stamp, and I'm going to remount it onto the acrylic mount in a different kind of bend. That's something fun that you can do with clear stamps that are long like this. You can arch them however you want. So I'm just going to stick it down here. There's no method to the madness. I'm just kind of sticking it down however I please. And then I'll ink it up with the little do-it-yourself ink pad that I have here and do it again. Now I'll be able to use this ink pad for several cards as long as I do them all pretty, all at the same time. If I leave this to dry out, it probably won't stamp as well. So I'm just going to keep repeating this stamped image and bending it in different directions each time I do it. I am stamping it twice each time just to save time. And you'll see as this dries how nice and vibrant these inks will stamp, because it is stamping ink that I'm using to create my own ink pad. So I'm just going to do a few last little stamp pieces here, and then we'll end up with just this fun and wild kind of party look to this card. Now to finish this off, I definitely decided this needed to be some sort of celebration card. So I went ahead and grabbed one of my favorite Hero Art stamp sets. It has all these birthday greetings on it, and I thought the Let's Celebrate would be perfect for this. Now in other videos you've probably seen me cut my stamps apart so I can arrange the greetings in different ways. I had done that with this stamp here. I had cut Let's and Celebrate apart so I could line it up differently. But you'll see I can easily line it up how it was originally intended by just putting them on the stamp next to each other. It's very easy to do. I'm just going to test it out and make sure that it is lined up before I stamp it on my card. And I'm going to use my black ink just to stamp it right onto the card. This is by far my favorite black ink because you can use it with any card and it gives you a nice, vibrant, dark, intense black stamped image. Before we finish up, I wanted to show you the little embellishments that I put on here. Here I use some stars, and on the other card I use some hearts. Sometimes I can't find the right embellishment, so I like to make my own, and I just use paper punches for that. For the stars, I use this border punch from EK Success, and for the hearts, I use a Martha Stewart border punch. It punches a bunch of hearts. I don't use it as a border per se, but instead I just use the little pieces from it. There are also lots of dies that cut these small little shapes too. So now I've got this mess of hearts and stars here. I'm just going to push them aside, and I'll just take these and arrange them onto my card in different ways. I just like to have them scattered along. You could use gems for this if you wanted to instead. So I'm just going to kind of arrange and decide where I want to put these. And once I'm happy, I'm going to use glossy accents to add them to the card. I like to use glossy accents because it's good for tiny little pieces like this, and also it's very strong and it won't come undone when you put this in the mail. The other thing that I like to do with glossy accents is put a little bit of it on top of the star, or on top of my little pieces of paper here, because it gives it a nice glossy finish, a little raised area when it dries. It makes it look more like a finished embellishment. And once this has some time to dry, look at, you can see that nice shine that it has to it. Just makes it pop a little bit more. Now for the Hugs card, I'm just going to use some of the hearts that I showed you I punched before. And I'll just add these to the card with the glossy accents again. If I wanted to, I could add them with foam dots just to raise them up and give a little dimension. Now these glossy accents on top give it a nice finished look. You could also put some stickles or glitter on these to give them a little more interest if you want to. So there you have it, ways to create your own ink pad using your Reinkers. If you have any questions, please be sure to visit the Hero Arts blog, and thanks for watching.